Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, if you are interested in never running out of money in retirement and at the same time making sure your money can keep up with inflation, help you maintain your lifestyle over time, this is the video for you, especially, of course, if you're a federal employee. This channel is for federal employees. If you're new here, welcome. Today and 3 times a week or more, we make videos just for you as federal employees. We know your stuff is unique, and we want to make sure you get the answers you need to be successful in retirement. So let's talk about not running out of money in retirement. Long story short, when it comes to your investments in retirement, one of the most important, there's really 2 factors that will determine if you run out or not. And that is number 1, how much you take out. How much you take out and how you invest. How you invest, okay? If we get those 2 things right or about right, the odds of you not running out and making sure that you can maintain your lifestyle over time, the odds of that go up, which we like that. So let's talk about first how much you can reasonably withdraw, let's say from TSP or an IRA or whatever accounts you might have, without having to worry about running out before you die, because none of us want that. So a simple way to estimate what your money can provide for you realistically, conservatively in retirement is the 4% rule. Let's do an example of how this might look. Let's say you have $500,000, okay? $500,000. 500,000. So the 4% rule looks like this. You multiply whatever you have at retirement by 4%. If we do that math here, we get $20,000. So 500,000 year 1 in retirement would produce 20,000. So year 1, 20K. Now, what about year 2? Some people think the 4% rule assumes that you just take whatever balance your TSP year 2 is, and you just multiply that by 4%, and you keep doing that every year. But that's not how the 4% rule works. You actually just take year 1's value, increase it by inflation, and that's your year 2 value. So if inflation, let's say, was super high, it was 10%. In year 2, you take out 22,000. So long story short, you start with the 4% amount of the initial amount you had at retirement, then you increase that dollar amount by inflation over time. And again, if you follow the 4% rule, the odds of you running out of money in retirement are very, very small. So this is a great way to plan out your withdrawals. If you're planning about 4%, you're in a good spot. Now, some people say, well, 4% kind of seems low, right? I thought the stock market averaged 10% over time. Why can't I get closer to, let's say, 10%? Well, this is the problem. Number 1, very few people want to actually be 100% in the stock market in retirement because it's volatile. And while the market averages 10% over time, it doesn't do 10% every single year. Some years are plus 20, some years are minus 20. It varies. And if you take a large percentage out every year, even if the market is down, then this would cause you a lot of trouble. You'd start depleting way into your principal really quick, and that's when you run out of money. So the 4% rule is conservative enough so that even as the market goes up and down, you're taking those withdrawals, and the odds of you running out are very, very slim. So that's the first piece of all this, is making sure you take out not too much, right? So that you are in a good spot for retirement. However, if you use the 4% rule, but you don't invest your money right, for example, if you're 100% in the G fund, the odds of your money lasting a normal retirement is quite small. So I don't want you to have to worry about that. So let's talk about how you can be investing in retirement. Now, there is no one-size-fits-all for retirement investing. You have to know that, right? You can find some very generic things online, but it just doesn't apply to everybody, especially federal employees. So this is a structure that you can use to basically figure out how you should be investing in retirement. So we break it down into buckets, okay? And you can break this up into 2 buckets, 3 buckets. I'm going to show an example with just 2 buckets just to keep it simple. So let's say this is our short-term bucket and this is our long-term bucket. And this is how it works. this is how it works. We want about 8 years worth of money or so, about, again, 8 years worth of money or so here in the short-term bucket. And the sort of investments we want in the short-term bucket is G fund, F fund, some shorter term or some more conservative investments. And this short-term bucket, as you know, the G fund and F fund, they don't grow certainly like the stock market over time, but that's not their job. Their job is to be relatively stable, so that when you want to go on that trip, when you want to take that withdrawal, the 4%, you are going to be okay, right? That money is there for you to take withdrawals out of it. It's good to go. However, you've also got a long-term bucket. So again, we put about 8 years worth of money here. Now, let me actually define that really quick. What does 8 years worth of money mean? Well, it means whatever you're planning to draw from investments, during those 8 years, that's what you do. So for example, if your pension is $30,000 a year, your Social Security is $40,000 a year, and you're going to pull $20,000 out from your investments, well, that means you need $20,000 a year from your investments. So $20,000 a year multiplied by 8 years, 8 years, right? That's about $160,000. That means you put about $160,000 in your short-term bucket, and then everything else would go here in your long-term bucket. Now, your long-term bucket should be invested in things like the CSNI or things like that in an IRA, if you're in an IRA. And the long-term bucket's job is to grow more over time, to actually beat inflation, and to make sure you never run out. So the reason you have some of both is to have some stability for those withdrawals you want to take, but also have the growth you need over time so that you can stay retired, don't have to go work at Walmart, you never run out of money, you can maintain your lifestyle over time. So that is a structure, and I've got whole videos on this called the bucket system. You can go see those if you'd like, some of the dynamics of how it actually works. But that's the core concept, is you got to have some money that's safe or more safe and some money that's more long-term, and as long as, again, your withdrawals around that 4% mark, then the odds of you running out of money is very, very slim, and your investments are set up for success as well. So this is one strategy and one approach for retirement. Obviously, there's lots, but you just got to find one for you that you understand, makes sense to you, and is relatively simple to execute throughout retirement. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.